What women don't realize also is that the more money a guy makes, the less likely he is to be fit unless he's like an actor or a model or a social media influencer. And guess how many women are fighting for that? Most of them who are single. Good luck. That's like a Hunger Games scenario. You gotta be, and see the thing is though, like they do that and then they don't want to be sluts. Sorry, he's got options that'll fuck him tonight. You're out. Good morning.
My first real dating experiences were on apps, which is wild. There is a well-documented male loneliness epidemic. Men are becoming more single than ever. Some by choice because they hate feminists. They are done. It's a boycott of women. And some because they're just tired and they've had no luck and they feel like they are out of options. On the flip side, every single week, we talk about it basically every single week, there is a new girl who goes viral for posting a video crying about the plights of modern dating. And I know that people like to rag on these women who post videos of themselves crying online, but it's getting out of hand. And maybe the act is cringe, but the feelings are genuine and they are looking for community and support and validation that they are not alone in feeling like this dating landscape is a hellscape and is just insane in real life, and it's just not working. There was a video that went viral this week and it was a 6-minute video and this girl was just like crying, and she tried to go to this community event. It was a comedy show and all of this bad stuff happened where she ended up sitting in the front row totally alone, kept getting called out by all the comics being like, wow, you're here alone, just sitting in the front row. People were laughing at her. She met no one. She ended up leaving and just feeling humiliated. But her entire goal in going to this was to put herself out there and be brave and try to go somewhere where there would be single.
You know why this is? Because we have too many options. Humans have advanced so much to where the landscape of our culture does not match the biological way that life was intended to work. You weren't supposed to have all these options where you were comparing people and traveling across the world and moving. It was always supposed to be like within your little local village, town, whatever. Who's single? Age be damned. Requirements be damned. Got someone to partner with you and have some babies and contribute to the village. And if it's like a little bit more of advanced village or you know, maybe of your higher status, you find other people that are of equal status or have other redeeming qualities, like chief's daughter. Maybe she marries like the best warrior or whatever, you know, and certain things are arranged. But now we have so many options and women are out there putting themselves out there and choosing and stuff, that it's just, that's not how it worked. Options make people unhappy because then they see something they want that they can't have.
Men so that she could meet them. Like the whole, it truly is a mess, and it breaks my heart for her and everybody involved. And so I have a soft spot for the women making those videos, even though it is weird that we post videos of ourselves crying. But the point is, the connections are just not being made. It's not happening. And why is this? Now I saw this tweet that was immediately getting traction on X this week, and this girl said 45% of men prefer to meet a potential partner online, while only 19% of women prefer to meet a potential partner online. We would like you to approach us in person. Thanks, women. Here we go. Disconnect number 1, because that would certainly be a lot easier had the Me Too movement not grown to be a toxic mess that scared men from ever wanting to approach a woman ever again for fear of being accused of rape or harassment or anything. Also, for fear of just being rejected and shot down constantly by unkind women, which is not a new thing at all. That has always existed, but I'm sure that is just exacerbated by everything else and the fears of approaching a woman in person. Maybe that
it's even worse now, because how it used to be is you approach a few women, maybe get rejected. You only really have your experiences and like what you hear from your personal friends, right? But now what happens is guys who aren't even developed yet, like young teenagers, kids, whatever, they go online and they see all these horror stories in like a Reddit thread or whatever, and they make it worse than it actually is in their mind and don't even start asking women. They don't even start developing social skills because they're already like scared of what other people have experienced. It's just like, come on, man.
Inspired HR hostility towards dating at work wasn't the best idea for women. Another person said, except you would literally rather encounter a bear. So, and you know what? He makes a good point. All of these guys make good points. And if you don't know what that is in reference to the man versus bear, click the link in the description. We have a whole video about it. Gender relations are a mess. That is basically TLDR.
You don't take advice from me to win their life with their life. I'm not giving you advice. Nothing I've said is advice.
But anyway, back to the point. Like I just said, I don't fault any of these guys because all of that is true. Men have been burned for years now, so obviously they turned to apps because it seemed like the most viable, logical, safe option. Like the women on there were obviously looking. They were putting themselves on the app, so it was safe. But then the men got no matches because there were more men on the apps than women, and men generally swipe yes on more women versus the women, who are usually more selected and will only swipe yes on a small percentage of those top men that they think that they deserve. And then if you're a guy and you end up getting a match, half the time it goes nowhere and you never end up meeting anybody in person. I actually think that it's more than half the time. Usually, it never goes anywhere, which, by the way, is a whole epidemic in and of itself that dates back years. Here's a headline from 28.
That's their fault for spitting bad game. All right, we've seen it in person. We've done a case study on the stream. Sometimes a guy looks normie, starts yapping, not normal, pull up, back up, unmatched.
Who are the people using dating apps with no intention of romance or hooking up? And they have no intention of meeting because swiping and talking from behind a screen is safe. And again, these apps create an addictive game where you can get this dopamine rush of attention and affirmation without actually having to put yourself out there and care about the other person and their feelings and actually go on a date in real life. It's a mess, and again, it is enabled by these apps that profit off of your relationships going nowhere. At this point, I think that women are just collecting matches. And these are men
a lot of them are.
that, according to women online, are their desired man. You know, the 6'2", makes money, has his own business, whatever, like the kind of men that they desire. It's still not working. And then the guys in the comment section obviously picked up on that. One of them said, there are a lot of women that are 5s and think that they are 10s. I mean, just so many comments like this. This is a shared sentiment by a lot of guys, and it reminded me of this TikTok, which actually connects to what we talked about yesterday, my friends. I want a guy in finance, 5'9", blue eyes. That one? Here's a response to that.
The sad reality of this girl finding the man that she's looking for based upon her criteria. And this girl that goes by the name of Maxed Out Mommy breaks down the chances of her finding a man that's in finance that has a trust fund that's 6'5" with blue eyes. And that number is 2. So there's 2 men out there that actually fit this woman's criteria of what she's looking for in a man.
Very materialistic things are just getting in the way of your happiness and your success in the dating pool. Just like, let that go, because you have a 1 in a billion chance, basically. And just as a side note, I think all the women making these videos talking about this specific kind of guy, apparently you just want to date Barron Trump. Because Barron Trump is the only man I know that fits that criteria. You are welcome. I found him. Duke it out.
What am I looking for? 5'0", dad bod, broke, micro penis, lazy. That's about it. Let's calculate it. The 5.0 is what's really going to probably ruin everything for me. Otherwise, I have more options. Just too picky.
Anyway, moving on. Another guy talked about this disconnect in terms of standards and said the dating disconnect explained. The percentage of men who are 25 to 45, over 6 feet tall, make more than $100,000 a year, and can run a sub 8-minute mile, 0.01%. And obviously, I don't think he's trying to be super specific with the 8-minute mile. What he's saying is being like generally very fit, taking care of your body, in good shape, attractive, whatever. And then he goes on to say, percentage of women over 150 pounds with a sub 600 credit score who expect to find a man who is 25 to 45, over 6 feet tall, makes more than 6 figures a year, and can run a sub 8-minute mile, 80%. So obviously, very disconnected. People's standards are incredibly skewed.
What women don't realize also is that the more money a guy makes, the less likely he is to be fit, unless he's like an actor or a model or a social media influencer. And guess how many women are fighting for that? Most of them who are single. Good luck. That's like a Hunger Games scenario. You gotta be, and see the thing is though, like they do that and then they don't want to be sluts. Sorry, he's got options that'll fuck him tonight. You're out, you know?
Potential partner, and that goes both ways for both genders. If you have specific
they expect him to be loyal too when he has that many options.
You should be matching those yourself.
Crazy.
That is the right thing to do, and that will put you in a position where you can meet somebody who matches those and where you can have mutual respect and both be bringing things to the table that you want. It is actually quite simple. And to add on to that, many young men, especially in my age demographic, have never dared to ask a woman out in public or never learned how to do it in the first place. And so that is a skill that needs to be worked on. And women, you also have to work on not being a bitch when men approach you in public and not immediately thinking that they are a creep. My friend Allie on Twitter, who I've talked about a bunch now, and I told you guys to go follow her because she's fantastic, she responded to this girl and said, she's so right. Number 1, get off the apps. Number 2, quit freaking out when men approach you in public. You cannot ask for this and they go, ooh, I don't want to talk to you. Like, you, again, it goes both ways. That's kind of
okay, listen, what women mean is don't approach me unless you have some criteria, like a Lamborghini. You pull up in your Ferrari. You can hang out the passenger side of your best friend's ride if it's in a Bugatti, okay? And then don't approach me unless you've got abs and a face that the angels would sing about. Basically what these kind of women are saying.
So
That's what
creeps
they
are one
want.
thing, but we have to be comfortable with normal men politely approaching us. The only difference between a normal man and a creep is how attractive you find him. Not even close, and
Exactly.
I completely agree with that. But I feel like this does deserve some elaboration, because when men say this, they're not talking about obvious things like stalking women or being inappropriately touchy. So, how do you know if you're being creepy? This is where flirting comes in, which apparently is a lost art. Flirting is all about escalation with plausible deniability. Starting a conversation about something totally benign, any clue where the bartender went, gives you a chance to feel out if she's going to lean into the conversation at all, and gives you a chance to back out if she's cold. I know that women are more subtle than men, but that's why you have to actively be scanning for feedback. Also why this is a habit and a skill that you have to learn. You gotta understand the female nature just like women need to understand men and understand.
Crystal Matthew, I got another surprise Pikachu for you today. It's never gonna happen. Calm down. Keep it in your pants or take your pants somewhere else.
They're not just being creepy 24/7. Making
You
eye
are the
contact, or
creepy
just
one
turning away from you,
24/7.
take the hint and go away. It's not creepy to try, but it is creepy to keep trying with somebody who isn't into it. Politely said no to men, and then they keep pushing, keep talking, keep following me around. I've tried to just end the conversation to no avail, and my friends have been in the same boat. It is something that happens relatively regularly.